we made it. And she's here, running, driving, minor issues, but she's here. And she's alive. I didn't actually sell it. So, last time you guys saw this car, it was rough. And by no means is it, you know, nice now, but it's definitely a lot better than the last time you guys saw it on this channel. A lot has happened and I'm going to go through it, but let me give you a timeline on essentially what happened with this car. All right, what happened? So to go over that, I should probably explain why I bought this car. As you guys know, I used to have a white 2002 Mustang GT, and it was a great car. Made a few videos with it, you guys liked it, and at the point where, and the place where I was in life at the time, I couldn't keep the car, had to get rid of it. I ended up buying my Volkswagen GTI, which you guys have seen me do some POV content, which is an amazing driving car. Probably turn this around now. I love taking the GTI on back roads, mountain roads. I've done a lot of road trips in it. It's an amazing car. It just didn't give me the driving experience that this car or cars like these do. They're two different cars. One's nice, plush, quick, will gap the crap out of this, and this car is a little bit slower, but a lot more raw, more soul, and I absolutely love it. Ended up picking up another one. This one I bought from a military base. It was abandoned on base, and I bought it for $2,000, which is crazy, honestly, for the type of car this is and what this car is. $2 grand is a steal. This is a 1999 35th anniversary Mustang. Here's what makes this so special. Essentially, if you look at a 99 to 01 Mustang, they are different from, let's say, 02 to 04. The 99 35th anniversary cars came with essentially all of the 02 to 04 body parts before, well, 02 and 04. It was a 35th anniversary specific, and there are still a few things that those cars did not get. One of the biggest telltale signs that this is a 35th anniversary is, one, these side skirts. These side skirts are 35th anniversary specific. You cannot find these, you cannot buy them aftermarket. They only came on the 35th anniversary car. So take a look. You could tell that they are different from your GT skirts. When this car was new, it came with the GT wing on here, not the 9901 wing. And it has the 35th anniversary cluster. Another thing these cars came with, they had two-tone door panels where all of this will be paint matched to the body color. As you can see, mine doesn't have that. I actually had the original door cards, but they were missing the inserts. And well, I just swapped to just regular GT door guards. Anyway, aside from that and a few other small differences, that's what made a 35th anniversary so special. And funny enough, it being a 35th anniversary was one reason, but not the main reason why I bought this car in the state that I bought it in. It was actually what's under the hood. This is why I bought the car. This car came with the Trick Flow full intake plenum and manifold setup. This is the Trick Flow track heat setup, and it's also paint matched to the body of the car. When I saw that, I knew this was not your normal Mustang, so I messaged the guy, pulled some cash, drove down there same night, and picked the car up. All right, so we got the car back. Then what? Well, as you guys saw in the last video, I think it was the last video I made, we fixed the fuel tank. So the fuel tank was leaking from the grommet, so I went ahead and swapped that out in the last video. And then I drove the car for a bit, but the more and more I drove it, again, this car was sitting for a while, I found more and more issues that made me feel a little uncomfortable driving the car. The clutch was starting to slip, and the car really needed a tune. There was a bunch of vacuum leaks, a bunch of little things leaking from the car. Again, it was sitting for almost 10 years. So I let the car sit. I put it underneath a cover in my parking lot, and I stacked parts for the next couple of months. Let's go over a lot of stuff that we did to this car, because I want to document it, because it's my first build. It was my first engine out teardown and rebuild in terms of, besides opening the motor. This is the first time that I've ever pulling an entire drivetrain start to finish and putting it back in with all new seals, gaskets, everything. All right, let's go over some of the mods. We redid the timing set. So new timing set in the car, new alternator, new gaskets, pretty much every gasket for the car. We did find out this is not the original motor, which we never thought this was the original motor. This is essentially a motor out of a Ford Explorer, either a Ford Explorer or a Lincoln Town Car. We're not 100% sure. What we do know is this car, for the lower coolant hose, the port for it is actually from a Explorer or F-150, whatever. It's a 2-valve. It is stock bottom end. However, the heads have had some work done to it, so it's been ported. It has beehive springs, and it also have comp 270 AH cams in the car. So we went over, took our notes, resealed, retightened, we did everything. And one of the main reasons the motor had to come out, which I didn't mention, was the headers. So this car does have BBK shorty headers, which are notorious for leaking. Either way, I was doing this car on the budget, and I actually wanted the BBK shorties to work. And here's my reasoning. If you've ever worked on a new edge specifically, I won't speak on the S197s or 5.0 platforms, even though I'm pretty sure they're all the same. The new edge is a pain in the butt with the stock K member to do any sort of headers. I had essentially 3 options. Option 1, go back to stock headers. And with running the cams and the headwork on this car, I knew the stock headers would choke the motor. That leads to option 2. Option 2 was go ahead and pick up some long tube headers and a tubular K. Can you do long tube headers without a tubular K? Yes. However, it's a complete pain in the ass, and you don't want to do it. Nobody wants to do it. You ask anyone, no. And quite frankly, I don't want to do it. So if I was going to go long tubes, I would get a tubular K, which at the time I didn't have the money for, and I still don't have the money for. So that led us to option 3, which is sticking with the BBK shorties and doing everything in my power to seal them. I bought not only the BBK specific exhaust manifold gaskets, but I also torqued the living shit out of those bolts to the point where we pretty much stripped one. We stripped the threads out of one and had to retap it and put it back in. And we also stripped it from where the mid pipe meets to the header, which again, we had to retap and put it back in. Surprise, surprise, after doing everything in my power, besides RTVing the headers onto the motor, she still leaks, which I knew was a possibility, but I can only do so much at a time, and I had to essentially bite that bullet and take a chance, and I did, and now I know. So for all of you out there who are thinking of putting BBK shorties on your car, don't. While we're down there, we put in a new clutch, new flywheel, new clutch fork, throwout bearing for performance, throwout bearing, the only throwout bearing you should ever use, and a new pivot stud. We looked at the transmission, serviced it a little bit, and threw it back in. Everything I just said took 2 days, which was record time for us, honestly. A full motor out, refresh, and back in, pretty freaking quick. There's a few more exterior stuff that we did. So one, I do have a Terminator Cobra front bumper. I do have the Magic Drift Cobra specific front lip on this car. So if you guys are ever wondering what front lip do I have, it is the Magic Drift Cobra specific lip. You can run the GT lip, but it does look a little different. I like kind of the crimson chin sort of style that this car has, so that's why I went with this. They're a little bit hard to find, but if you can find them, they fit up perfectly. Another mod, which I think is a must for every V6 and GT, is upgrading to Cobra brakes, specifically in the front. You don't need to do them in the rear, but in the front, please, if you have stock GT or V6 brakes, just go ahead, find yourself a set of Cobra brakes or Mach 1 brakes and put them on. These make a world of a difference. I have OEM Cobra brakes from a 99 Cobra with Hawk pads, but honestly, on my old car, you could just go to a parts store, buy the calipers for, I don't know, 300 bucks, and then get pads and rotors for a Cobra, and for under $500, 600 bucks, let's say, you'll have an amazing front big brake kit. It is a world of a difference. Actually, comment below if you guys have one of these cars and you've done the Cobra brake upgrade. Let everyone know down below that these are the best brakes in terms of bang for buck that you can do for one of these cars. And aside from that, I do have a Steeda Tri-X shifter, which is right there, and a foam shift boot. Now I know a lot of you are gonna ask me about this, so I'll make a separate video on how to do this in your car. But yeah, that's for another video. All right, and lastly was the exhaust. It does have a full Catless X pipe along with the SOP Loudmouth 1 mufflers, which essentially this car is a straight pipe. And I know you guys want to hear it, so here you go. Sounds amazing, drives really good. I will make a video on the header situation because it does hinder some aspects of the car. The car is tuned by Mode Speed Shop in Georgia. He did a remote tuning session, so if you guys have a New Edge or essentially any car, hit him up, Mode Speed Shop. He worked with me and helped me out a ton getting this car sorted and getting it tuned to run the way that I want. And he's amazing. Customer service is top notch and great pricing. Marty, Jeff, thank you guys. But yeah, the car is here, it's running, it's driving, and you're going to see more content on it. Sadly, I couldn't really do anything if the car was sitting under a cover, and now it's not. Now it's here, now it's out. It does still have some issues. The header leak, the power steering is off and on, it doesn't want to work. I also have all new body panels in a sense. I have new front fenders for this car off of Mach 1, which are just the same front fenders. And I have a rear bumper to replace this one. What color do you think I should wrap Big Raga? That is her name, that's her plate. What color do you guys think? I'm also in search of a Celine wing for this car. And yeah, that's about it. Right now is just drive it, enjoy it. I will be going to the Pro Dyno drive-in and putting Big Raga on the dyno just to see how much power this car makes. If you made it this far, thank you guys for watching the video. If you want to support me, subscribe, drop a like, and comment down below. Again, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Peace. All right, here we go. Missed third.